Have you ever walked into your kid's room and gone, how did I get here? I mean, like, not how did I get here? I walked up the stairs and down the hallway, but like, how did we get here? Clothes everywhere, clothes that don't fit, books, toys, random things that belong to you, things that you have no idea where they came from, trash. Sound familiar? Pieces of toys, little pieces of toys everywhere. So today we are in my 4-year-old's bedroom and we are going to declutter this room. Hey guys, it's me, Amanda. We are currently on a decluttering journey over here at Roots and Harbor. If you didn't see our last video, we decluttered my master bedroom. I gave you all the tips and tricks that I have, and today we are in my son's room and I'm going to show you how I declutter kids' bedrooms. Now, one of the main focuses for bedrooms is always going to be clothes, and with kids, it's especially little kids, you know that clothes can be a huge challenge. They're constantly growing, and if you have several children and you do hand-me-downs, the whole switch can get really confusing, and I'm going to show you how I simplify it, how I keep it in order, and how we can keep the clutter at bay in your kids' rooms. Okay. We're gonna start right here in my son's dresser, well, his makeshift dresser. So as you can see, we used a unit that's similar to the IKEA Expedit unit. This I believe is from Target or Wayfair. I'll link it below whenever I figure out where I got it. And we got these really cute baskets. And this is really great for the little kids because he can actually get in here himself and see what he needs. So it's lower to the ground, which makes it, in my opinion, safer. It's harder for him to pull over on himself, and also there's no pinching of fingers with dresser drawers, and if he can't see in the top, he can pull the basket out and put it on the ground. We don't fold his clothes, we just dump them right in there. Each basket has a specific item in it, so he knows where to look for his underwear and socks and his pajamas. So right now we're going to start by going through these drawers or baskets, if you will, and figure out what needs to go based on size, if he's grown out of it, and season. Also, this whole setup with this unit where the kids can get in and out of it is really great for teaching them independence. So if you're a Montessori parent like I am, then you know that one of the really important aspects of that is teaching your kids independence. And so this will help them be able to get their own clothes out and get themselves dressed. So if you're looking for ways to help your kids be more independent, try switching to something like this as opposed to a regular dresser. And this is relatively inexpensive, so we are going to use this up until we feel like he's old enough to have an actual dresser. So for now, this is what we're going with, and it works out really well for our family. So there's just a tip for you if you have little ones or toddlers and you're looking for ways to help them be more independent, especially when they're getting dressed in the morning. Here's my first tip. Make sure you have piles set up or spaces set up for the things that you are taking out of the drawers. For instance, for me, I'm going to have a donate pile, trash pile, a sell pile, and a put back in the drawer pile. So the donate pile is going to go in just a regular old bag, trash bag. The sell pile for me is going to go into a Whole Foods bag, like a paper bag. I just like to keep my sell stuff in those. It helps me to distinguish what goes where. And trash pile, trash bag. And then the other pile, I'll neatly, we don't fold it up, but I'm going to put it in that pile to put back in the drawer. And there you go. One of my big things that I try and tell everybody is before you get started, make sure you have all your supplies. And for this, the supplies are obviously minimal. You want a couple trash bags, and if you're selling clothes like I am, you'll want whatever bag you put your clothes in to sell. If you want more info about selling kids clothes, I did a video on that. You can check it out. I'll link it below in the description. Definitely check that out if you have any clothes worth selling, things that are higher end brands that are in good condition, maybe never worn or worn once. So those are always great things to sell, and then you can make some money off of the clothes that you just have sitting in your drawers. Okay, let's keep going. One other pile I forgot to mention, especially if you have multiple kids. I have 2 boys and a little girl. So my oldest, when I do this process in his room, I always have a pile for hand-me-downs. So those are things that I'm obviously going to store away for my younger son to wear when he is big enough. And for that, I use the really big Ziploc bags, like I forget what size they are, but they're really big. I put the clothes by size in those bags, and you can vacuum out all the air so they're flat packed and they're really easy to store. I store them right in my son's closet. So every season I'll look and see what age I have for that season. I pull it out and go through and see what I can put in his drawers or hand-me-downs. So it's all there ready to go. It's neatly packed away in those Ziploc bags. So that is a really helpful tip if you have multiple children and you're dealing with hand-me-downs, because I know that can get super confusing. And keeping them in your kid's closet is way better than keeping it in an attic or a basement, because in my experience, I have found that if I do that, I will forget that they are there and I will forget to look for them, and then I completely miss that size for the kid that I'm handing it down to. So if you have the space and can do it, try and flat pack the hand-me-down clothes in a giant Ziploc bag or whatever you have, put it in the kid's closet, and that way you will see it when it's time to pull those clothes out. I do believe that clearing out clutter in a bedroom can help with sleep. So if your kids are having sleep issues, maybe try decluttering. Try and keep toys out of the bedroom. If at all possible, make the bedroom a place for sleeping and not so much playing. If that's not possible for you, have a nice system where you keep your toys and keep it really minimal and calm toys, things that are wind down toys versus things that might be brightly colored or have noises and sounds that might hype your kids up at bedtime. For the closet, especially for the little ones, keep things off the hangers unless it's special event clothing like suits or jackets. And then also when you're doing this process, I find that it's really helpful to have a laundry basket, an empty laundry basket, where you can put anything in it that doesn't belong in the room anymore. So for instance, all those toys that we're clearing out, you can put the toys in the basket. That way you can easily transport them to wherever else they belong in the house. All right, another thing that I know our family has a lot of are books. We love to read. We read to our kids every single night, and I am someone who is really not ready to get rid of books. I'm just going to admit it right now. I am not there yet. I do have a tip for those of you who may have a lot of books and are ready to part with them. Not that you're not going to read to your kids anymore, but the tip is if you donate your books, get yourself a library card, you can check out the books that you want to read instead of lugging them around or taking up space in your house. So this is great for any of you who are really trying to minimize the things in your home, for those of you who are downsizing, for those of you who feel like you don't have a lot of space. This is going to be great for you. Donate your books. Lots of places will take books as a donation. Clear off that space and get yourself a library card, and then you do not have to lug around the books anymore. This is also going to be great for those of you who move a lot. I know this past year when we moved across country and then back across the country, packing up books can be a challenge because they're heavy and they take up a decent amount of space. So I completely understand if you are someone who moves a lot and you just don't want to move the books anymore. So that is my tip for those of you who have a lot of books and you just feel like it's taking up space in your life and your home. Get rid of them and get yourself a library card. All right, so that is how we can declutter our kids' bedrooms and save space and time and make it easier for them. Here's a quick rundown of the tips we went over. Number one, we talked about being prepared, have the supplies you need if you are donating, selling, keeping, handing down clothes. Make sure you have all the things that you need to do that when you get started with this process. The other tip I gave you was to get rid of books and get a library card. The other tip I gave you was for hand-me-downs. Put those in a large Ziploc bag that you can suction all the air out so they can be flat packed, and keep those in the closets of the kids that they're being handed down to. So those are my tips for decluttering a kid's room, and this will hopefully send you on the path to keeping it this way over time. For us, I find that every 6 months I go through these drawers, pull out anything that doesn't fit anymore, anything that isn't seasonal, and we do this quick process in the drawers, and then that sets us on our way, and we're good for another 6 months until we have to do it again, because we live on the East Coast and we have seasons. So we kind of have to do it this way. If you are someone who lives in like Southern California and you don't have that many things to switch out during the year, you might be able to get away with doing this process once a year. And then once your kids get older and they're not growing as much, you might be able to get away with doing it even less than that. So whatever works for your family, just get yourself a system in place and follow these simple tips. And when you do this, I'm sure you can declutter your kids' room under 30 minutes. If you like this video and you found these tips helpful, please like it and subscribe. Right now we are doing a organization series, so I'll be back to talk to you about another room in our home that we're decluttering and help you get yours decluttered too. I'd love to hear what you think about this, so comment below and check me out on all the other social media platforms, Instagram, Pinterest. I've linked everything below where we can hang out after this video.